Hi Grappling Ignorance, this is Psychronus, the man in the mirror, and this is obviously a video response to your 3 stories and the question whether we find them moral or immoral. I'm gonna do them in reverse order because I think that the first story is actually the most difficult one to analyze, so I'll do away with the 2 easy ones first. One addendum, sorry for any kind of grammatical mistakes I make. English is not my first language, I'm just a stupid German who tried to pick it up along the way with the internet. Okay, story number 3. The man who eats children. Ow. I mean, seriously, is that even a question? But okay, let's go through the motions. First of all, let's look at this from a consequentialist point of view, at the consequences. A lot of children dead. Bad consequence. Then let's look at it from a deistic point of view, which means let's look at his intentions. Were his intentions good? Were they bad? Well, I guess it's safe to assume that his intentions were bad. You talk about dark desires, things that, well, intentions, motivations, emotions that are generally not considered to be, well, pure or, in fact, okay or anything. So we have very, very bad consequences, very, very bad intentions, which makes the whole thing pretty much immoral. The last bit about him leaving the contents of his basement to the police is somewhat strange. The consequence of it is, well, they find the killer. Is that a good consequence or a bad consequence? I'd say it's a fairly neutral one, because, I mean, the children, they're still dead. It doesn't miraculously annihilate any of the previous consequences or something like that. So the bad consequences are still the bad consequences. Maybe the parents of these children rest a little easier now knowing that their killer is no longer around, but on the other hand, this may also trigger, well, a lot of fear, because I mean, he was in their neighborhood for all his life and they never caught him. I mean, this may cause a lot of panic, which is a bad consequence. So we don't really know whether the consequence of his last act are, well, fairly neutral or bad or maybe even slightly positive. We don't know that. As for his intention, we also don't know that. I mean, why has he done that? Why has he left that stuff to the police? Nobody knows. Seems like a big fuck you to me. I mean, you live your life, you end up dead from natural causes at, I don't know what, age 70? Perhaps 60, perhaps 80, and then you say, well, I'll tell the police in my last will and testament that I was the killer. Hey, they can get me, yada, yada, yada. I mean, that sounds like a dick move. This seems like a real dick move, so his intention doesn't seem like a positive one. I mean, it doesn't remind me in the slightest of any kind of, well, redemptionist approach or something like that. I mean, he doesn't seem like through that last action he was actually looking for redemption. In fact, no, it's just, he just does it. Nobody knows why, so that last bit is either neutral or bad as well. I mean, it would take a very, very, very special turn of events or a very, very special change in his personality or his mind over the course of his last years to make this even a slightly positive intention or to make these results even slightly positive. So even considering that last bit, the whole thing is still absolutely immoral. Really bad consequences, really bad intention. I mean, this is the kind of evil that we usually find in Hollywood films and stuff. This is the kind nobody wants to see. If that isn't immoral, then I don't know what is. Second story is even easier. Absolutely moral. The 2 absolutely white people who are rednecks are shocked at the beginning. Okay, I mean, who can blame them? We're humans. You could always argue that a truly moral person should do away with certain conditionings before situations in which these conditionings can, well, shock them even arises, but we're all just humans. I mean, seriously, you'd have to be very, very strict in order to see some negativity or some immorality here. So I think it's okay, it's perfectly okay that they took the first opportunity to deal with their own shock and to make something good of it. The consequences, I mean, their consequences are great. Not only do the woman and her husband get to know the 2 black people, but also the whole neighborhood gets to know the black people. The neighborhood opens up. I mean, this is what we always want to see. This is the kind of social integration, social interaction, free of any kind of prejudice, racist stuff and all that shit. I mean, that's great. So the consequences, perfect. About their intentions, well, we don't know that much about their intentions. They simply do it. They ask them questions. We don't know why they do it. So let's just say that the intention is a fairly neutral one. Perhaps they just thought, well, while they're here we can ask them. Or perhaps they thought, we got nothing better to do. That would be a fairly neutral intention. Perhaps they thought, hey, this is a great opportunity. I mean, these are people, these are humans. Fuck their skin color, invite them in, let's learn something about them. Let's broaden our horizons. That would be a really, really great intention. Perhaps their intention was egotistical. We don't know that. Perhaps they were applying for some scholarship or some kind of office, I don't know what, some kind of job that required them to be part of an integration process. That job description says, well, we'll only hire people who have previously helped people of another race, gender, ethnicity, social group, whatever, to successfully integrate into another group or something like that. If that was their intention, well, that would have been slightly egotistical. But would that lessen the impact of the really, really positive result? So even if the situation was immoral from a deistic point of view, it would still be very, very moral from a consequentialist point of view. So all things considered, this is a really moral thing to do. Great job. I wish that would happen every day. The first story. Oh boy, have I been thinking about this one. I even did some research. The easy part first. The consequences, a man is dead. Bad consequence. I mean, everybody will understand that. A human being is dead. No matter the cause, no matter the reason, no matter what, this is always a really, really bad consequence. And that's that. The intention is where things get interesting. Because if she had acted totally out of self-defense, out of panic, out of fear, she would have been allowed to go free. This wouldn't have been immoral. I mean, if I panic, if I think someone's gonna kill and rape me, and I just do, well, whatever comes to my mind in that very moment to defend myself, if my intention was pure self-defense, protecting my right to live, then this would have been a fairly neutral situation. Someone's dead, bad consequence, but the intention, can you blame me? No, actually not. If I act in self-defense, I exercise a human right that is guaranteed to me by the Declaration of Human Rights, which is an integral part of what we of ethics, of morality on a really, really large scale, on a world scale. So, if her intention had been purely self-defense, this would have been a, well, perhaps not really moral situation, but also not immoral situation.